Inside an abandoned countryside farm, hidden beneath decades of dust and wild vines, rested a forgotten AMC Drop truck. Nobody had touched it for over 40 years. Its faded green paint had nearly disappeared under rust. Shattered windows reflected the cloudy sky, and flat tires slowly melted into the earth. While everyone believed the truck was beyond saving, one restoration team saw something different. Not a pile of scrap, but a forgotten legend waiting for another chance. The restoration team carefully walked around the truck, documenting every damaged panel and every missing part. The engine was completely seized, the cabin smelled of mold, and the chassis was covered with thick rust. Even opening the driver's door required enormous effort. Most people would have given up immediately, but experienced restorers knew every great restoration begins with patience. Years of dirt, leaves, and mud covered nearly every surface of the truck. Pressure washers slowly revealed the original body beneath layers of grime. As water washed away decades of neglect, the true condition became visible. Although the rust looked severe, many original body panels had survived better than expected, giving the team fresh confidence. With the body cleaned, attention shifted toward the engine. Rusted bolts refused to move, forcing the mechanics to heat and loosen them one by one. After several hours of careful work, the old engine was finally lifted from the frame using a heavy workshop crane. It was the first major milestone in bringing the forgotten truck back to life. One by one, every component was removed from the truck. Doors, hood, seats, dashboard, suspension, and wheels were carefully labeled and organized. What once looked like a forgotten vehicle had now become hundreds of individual parts waiting for restoration. The hardest part of the journey had only just begun. The real challenge finally began. Every metal panel was covered with thick layers of rust built up over decades. Using wire wheels, sandblasters, and careful hand tools, the team slowly removed every trace of corrosion. As the clean steel appeared underneath, everyone realized the truck was stronger than it had first seemed. The forgotten AMC Drop was finally showing signs of hope. Several sections of the floor and lower body were too badly damaged to save. Fresh steel panels were carefully measured, cut, and welded into place. Bright welding sparks filled the workshop as every damaged section was rebuilt with precision. Little by little, the truck's original strength returned, making it ready for the next stage of restoration. With the body repairs complete, the team focused on the chassis. Years of dirt and rust were removed before every inch was carefully cleaned and coated with protective primer. The once corroded frame now looked solid and ready for decades of future driving. The foundation of the truck had been saved. Every suspension component was inspected and rebuilt. Old springs, worn bushings, damaged shocks, and rusty brackets were replaced with restored or brand new parts. Slowly, the truck regained the strength to support its own weight again. After decades of standing still, it was finally preparing to roll once more. The engine block was completely disassembled and inspected piece by piece. Every bearing, piston, gasket, and seal was replaced or restored with extreme care. Although the engine had remained silent for over 40 years, the team believed it would roar again. The heart of the AMC Drop was finally beginning its journey back to life. After days of careful work, the rebuilt engine was finally ready for assembly. Every cleaned component was installed with precision, from the pistons and crankshaft to the cylinder head and valve train. Fresh gaskets and seals ensured a perfect fit. What had once been a seized, silent engine was now beginning to look factory new again. The fully rebuilt engine was slowly lowered back into the truck using a heavy engine crane. Every mount, hose, and wiring connection was carefully secured. After weeks of repairs, the AMC Drop finally had its heart back. The project was no longer just a pile of parts, it was becoming a complete truck again. Attention turned to the truck's exterior. Every repaired panel was sanded smooth, small imperfections were filled, and the entire body received several coats of primer. The rough, rusty surface slowly disappeared, replaced by clean, smooth metal ready for fresh paint. The transformation was becoming impossible to ignore. Inside the paint booth, the truck received multiple coats of its original deep dark green color. Each layer was applied slowly to achieve a flawless finish. As the glossy paint reflected the workshop lights, It became hard to believe this was the same abandoned truck found in the field only weeks earlier. The cabin received the same level of attention as the exterior. New upholstery, restored gauges, a repaired dashboard, and a fresh steering wheel transformed the once moldy interior into a clean, comfortable workspace. Sitting behind the wheel now felt like stepping back into the day. With the paint fully cured, the team carefully installed brand new windshield glass, side windows, weather seals, chrome trim, headlights, and taillights. Each piece fit perfectly into place, bringing the truck closer to its original appearance. The AMC Drop was finally beginning to look complete again. The restored wheels were mounted with brand new all-terrain tires. One by one, each wheel was carefully tightened to the correct torque. For the first time in over 40 years, the truck stood proudly on its own, ready to move under its own power once again. After one final inspection, the battery was connected and fresh fuel filled the system. The key was turned slowly. The engine cranked once, then twice, and suddenly came to life with a deep, powerful rumble. The workshop erupted in smiles as the AMC Drop breathed again after decades of silence. The truck rolled out of the workshop and onto a quiet country road. Every gear shifted smoothly, the brakes responded perfectly, and the rebuilt suspension handled every bump with confidence. What had once been forgotten in a field was now driving proudly once again. The restoration was complete. The abandoned AMC Drop had been transformed into a beautiful classic truck, preserving its history for future generations. Every hour of hard work had paid off. What began as a forgotten wreck had become a symbol of craftsmanship, patience, and determination. The legend was back on the road. With every mechanical task completed, the team focused on the finishing touches. The deep dark green paint was carefully polished until it reflected the workshop lights like a mirror. Every chrome detail was buffed to a brilliant shine. The truck no longer looked abandoned. It looked ready for a showroom. Before the truck could return to the road, the braking system was tested repeatedly. Smooth stops, straight tracking, and balanced braking proved that every rebuilt component was working perfectly. Safety came before speed, and the results gave the team complete confidence. To prove its strength, the AMC Drop was driven across muddy trails, gravel paths, and uneven ground. The rebuilt suspension absorbed every bump with ease while the engine delivered smooth power. The truck handled every challenge just as it had decades ago. The finished truck was displayed at a local classic vehicle gathering. Visitors stopped to admire its flawless restoration and could hardly believe it had once been abandoned for decades. Every photograph and every compliment honored the countless hours of dedicated work behind the project. To celebrate the completed restoration, the AMC Drop was positioned in front of the old barn for a professional photo session. Every angle highlighted its glossy paint, polished chrome, and classic design. The truck that had once been hidden beneath rust was now ready to inspire enthusiasts around the world.